Welcome to Highly Sensitive Healing. I'm Lauren LaSalle, a former therapist, a highly sensitive person, and a mentor for HSPs. For too long, I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt everything deeply, sounds, emotions, other people's moods, and I learned pretty early on just to push through, to quiet my intuition, and to try to keep up with what everyone else was doing and what society expected of me. But the truth is, my sensitivity was never the problem. I just didn't have the language, support, or tools to understand it. This podcast was created for highly sensitive people who are tired of trying to toughen up or fix themselves and are ready to heal in a way that honors how they're wired. Here, we talk about nervous system regulation, unhelpful thought patterns, emotional overwhelm, and self-trust through a gentle, compassionate lens. You don't need to become someone new to feel better. You don't need to push harder or try more. You get to learn how to care for yourself in ways that actually work for you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, misunderstood, or like you were carrying too much, this space is for you. My hope is that each episode helps you feel a little less alone and a little more at home in yourself. So, wherever you're listening from, welcome. Take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. So today I have an episode for you that's sort of been in the back of my mind for a while, and I just never, for whatever reason, got around to recording it. But today I just feel like it's the time. So I'm just going to get right into it today because I don't really have any other updates. So why not? We'll just jump right in today. So today's episode is all about how I learned to put myself first. Not even learned, how I just decided to put myself first, decided to like myself, decided to love myself, decided to actually care for myself, because I think it does need to be a conscious decision. This is what I'm going to do. Because if we're just going sort of like on autopilot, all of our beliefs that our subconscious holds are just going to run the show. And so we're going to keep repeating the same patterns until we decide, I'm not doing this anymore. I see what's happening and I'm going to change things. So I wanted to give you an example of what that looks like when it comes to respecting yourself, actually being there, showing up for yourself, and deciding to like yourself, accept yourself, because I know a lot of HSPs especially really struggle with that. So here we go. I'm not even sure really where to start this. So this whole decision, this whole shift that I made started maybe almost 11 years ago. Wow, that's amazing. And let's back up a little bit before that. So all of my romantic relationships up until that point were, to put it just bluntly and straightforward, they were not good. And of course, sometimes they had their good points. But overall, knowing what I know now about what a relationship can be, they were not good. And interestingly, they all had similar patterns, sort of like what I'm talking about, that your subconscious holds. They all had similar patterns of how I was treated and how I felt. And at no fault to my parents, because I love them. We're so close now. They did the best that they could. I think a lot of how I viewed romantic relationships and what I thought was okay goes back to how I felt in childhood, because I did often feel like I was not listened to and like I was not respected, and like my opinion and my feelings did not matter. And so that carried over into my romantic relationships, because that's just what I thought a relationship was. And I thought there was a lot of conflict, and I always felt like I was the problem. And of course, both people are the problem in their own ways if there's a ton of conflict. But I always felt like it was just me. And so in those romantic relationships, I did not feel like I was listened to for the most part. I did not feel like I was truly respected. I didn't feel like I actually mattered to them. And a lot of what it was me being there for them, which I know a lot of you can relate to. We often give so much of ourselves, sometimes more than we should, more than we really have the capacity to give to other people because we care about them and we want to be there for them. But then it's not reciprocated, not even to like the tiniest degree of what we are giving. And that is not okay because that drains us. And that is a very one-sided relationship. But this was just sort of what felt normal to me. And so that's what kept happening over and over. So then in my mid-20s, after about a 3-year relationship that everybody from the outside thought like we were the best couple, we had a great relationship, but from the inside, we had very high highs and very low lows. And I didn't feel like I was a priority. And I didn't feel like I was listened to or like I was respected. And that got to the point where I was working for his company, and then I got a full-time job. And so that gave me the separation from him that I needed, not being together so often, to realize that this is not what I wanted. I wanted to find somebody that I could picture marrying and have a family with. And I just couldn't with this guy. Even though I tried to make it work, but I also tried to turn him into the person that I wanted to find, which you can't do that to people, but I didn't know what else to do because the relationship just felt normal to me. And while I didn't like how it felt, it like I said, it just felt normal. And so it felt okay. But having that separation made me realize that this is not what I wanted. I could not keep going on like this. I did not deserve to feel like this in a relationship. And so we sort of mutually broke up. And that was really hard, but it also felt really good. And from there, I said, I am not going to just fully jump in when I meet a person that I like. I am going to give it some time. I'm going to make sure that they respect me. I need to feel respected. I need to feel like I matter, like my opinion matters, my needs matter, my wants matter, my feelings matter, because I matter. And I think it was at that moment where I truly believed that I mattered, and I said, I'm not accepting less. No more am I accepting less. I see what's going on. I see these patterns that keep playing out over and over, and I'm done with them. And so I need to change up how I approach relationships in order for things to shift. I need to hold boundaries around how I am going to be treated and stick to them in order to see things shift. And not really too long after I made this decision, and it's not like it was just like we broke up and the next day I was like, I deserve to be treated like this. It was sort of over a period of a few months where it was like, all right, things need to change, and here's what I think it is, and here's what I'm doing from now on out. And I ended up meeting my now husband. It was only a couple months after that. So it is amazing when you decide, like, this is how this is going to go. This is how I'm caring about myself. I'm choosing myself. This is what I'm looking for, and I will not accept less. And boom, there he was. He was exactly the person that I was trying to make all of the other guys that I dated turn into, which is so funny. I didn't need to I didn't even feel like I wanted to change him. And now, of course, we've been together for over 10 years. Of course, there are things that both of us do that the other person isn't thrilled about, but we respect each other. We listen to each other. We know that we each truly matter. How we feel, the things we want, the things we need truly matters to each other. And for me, that all started with choosing myself first and setting boundaries around how I was going to be treated, and knowing that I also needed to change how I was approaching relationships, change a little bit how I was thinking about them, change how I got into them, how much I gave, especially right initially. And so I really was very aware of things that needed to shift. And that is what can happen for you too. If I can do it, you can do it. You can choose yourself. Sometimes you just need a little support. Sometimes you just need to get to the point in your life where you're like, all right, this is what's happening. I need this to change. I can't go on with this staying the same. And that's what I help my clients with too, is if you need some support, if you're not sure exactly where you're stuck, if you're not sure what subconscious patterns are running the show, I'm here to help you uncover those and make big changes. And it's not like now it's always so easy to love myself, but once you get on that path, once you are ready to be on that path, it really becomes so much easier. You really have to make it a mental practice to notice the thoughts that you're having about yourself or toward yourself that are not helpful, that keep you down those spirals, and reframe them into more helpful thoughts. And I did a whole series about this on the podcast a couple months ago. You can go back and find that, listen to those episodes, and that can really help you with those mental spirals. But it's a conscious decision to put yourself first and deciding that's what you're doing. And it can be hard. And you definitely have to remind yourself, I'm being compassionate toward myself. This is how I need to speak to myself. You have to set boundaries about how you are treating yourself as well as how others are treating you, and hold those boundaries firm. It will likely feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but change is not made feeling comfortable. There is always discomfort. You have to sort of work through the discomfort to get to the other side, and your new normal will be so worth the little bit of discomfort to get there. And I feel like I've had to do that so many times in my life where I was just so uncomfortable, but I kept going through because I just knew there was something on the other side that was worth going through this for and worth fighting for. And that's why I'm here today. And that's why I do the work that I do to support other people in this, because I did do a lot of it on my own. And that's really hard. And I would like to be able to get other people through these things faster with the support of someone who has been in similar situations, who knows exactly what it's like to be highly sensitive in this world, and can support you in getting to be where you want to be. So that being said, I do have a new very small group program coming up soon, which I will tell you more about maybe next week or the following week on the podcast. Also, if you're on my email list, you will hear about it. On social media, you'll hear about it. I'm so excited. This will be for people who aren't ready to commit to a full one-to-one mentorship program, but you still want to do that deep healing. You still want to connect with other HSPs on a deep level and figure out what's blocking you. What subconscious beliefs do you have that are holding you back? What do you need to do for yourself in your life? What changes do you need to make to fully support yourself as a highly sensitive person and to like yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself? And those are the things that we will be talking about in this small group program. So I will tell you more about that later. I still have one-to-one mentorship spots open right now, so you will be able to find out more about that in the episode description. I would love to support you. I just love doing this work so much. I have a client call later today, and then on Saturday, when this comes out, I have a meeting of The Gathering, which is an offshoot of our HSP community called The Healing Space, where we meet once a month live to talk about our focus of the month in the healing space and just to catch up and connect with others and talk about whatever's coming up for us that only HSPs can relate to. So more info about that in the episode description. I think that's all I have for today, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to Highly Sensitive Healing. You can help support the podcast by taking a minute to rate and review it, share your favorite episode with a friend, or become a subscriber on Patreon. Visit laurenlasalle.com for information about my mentorship programs, join my email list to stay up to date with how I can support you, as well as exclusive email list perks, and connect with me on Instagram at I am Lauren LaSalle. Happy healing.